Hey everyone, it's Samantha and welcome back to A Wealthy Hairstylist. And today I wanted to talk to you about the 5 most disastrous things that have happened to my salon since being a salon owner. I've owned my salon now for over 7 years, and everyone always talks about the wonderful things about owning a salon, and a lot of people forget to talk about the most disastrous things that can happen or could happen with owning a salon. And the biggest thing I could recommend is that you have insurance and that you definitely read the fine lines when signing all your paperwork for your lease. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so one disastrous thing that has happened since ownership is attempted break-ins. I've had quite a few attempted break-ins into the salon. The biggest one is that somebody either tried to take a bat or a crowbar to the very large window that I have on the side of my salon. And actually the window that we currently have in our salon, or we did have before it was attempted to be broken in, was with the building, I'm pretty sure it was an original window when the building was built in the 80s. And the people who tried to break in could not get through the window because inside the window actually had chicken coop wiring inside the window. So if someone attempted to break the glass, the wiring just like clawed itself out. And so there was actually no way to come in. And I remember calling the window company to come and board up and to replace it. And I sent them photos like, whoa, we don't make windows like this anymore. Windows like this used to be used in prisons so people couldn't escape. But it has now been replaced with a tempered glass. And it was something that I had to pay out of pocket. The building owners definitely did not cover that. Another incident, or I should say multiple of this incident has occurred, is continuous water damage a lot of this has to do with the way the building is or was built and constructed. Come to find out, when I built my salon out, I was probably the first person to have actual permits for my salon space. Permits for the unit I took over were never pulled for like 20 years. So who knows how the building was built out for the different tenants throughout the time, but I'm on the bottom floor. There are units above me, and every time it rains, I get leaks in my space. And so when we've had awful rains out here in California, I've had floods in my salon, and it comes through the AC duct, which is original to the space. That is something that I did not alter, and it has downpoured. I mean, we've collected like gallons upon gallons of buckets of water, and they send people out to look and inspect, and they cannot find where the water is coming from. So the water somehow is coming into the building, and it's going through the walls and just falling random spaces into my unit. So I've had tons and tons of water issues. Thank goodness our floor is cement, but I do have LVT luxury vinyl tile, which is waterproof. So a lot of times we just have to obviously clean up the water, soak it up, a lot of towels. And of course, when you're walking on the LVT, it's like kind of spongy. So then water comes up through the floor. So we have to have fans on all the time. And that's just lovely. So always dealing with water and being aware now when we have rain. Now I know where all the leak spots are in the salon, and I have to set out buckets. And it's so unfortunate, but it's just something that I've had to deal with, and also pay for any issues that have happened to my space on my own for that. Another mishap that has happened within my salon, and it could be due to having water damage. I do have open ceilings, like the wood beams are exposed within my salon. And I remember there was sometimes there was random little bugs kind of flying around, and they would fall near some of the windows that we had in the salon space. And I would go look at them like, what is this? I don't even know what this kind of bug is. and they were tiny little black things. And then eventually some of them had wings. I'm like, what is this? And I took pictures and video, and thank goodness for Google Image. Come to find out, these are like little freaking termites. And I could see very high up in the ceiling, like the tiny, tiny little specks of where termites could be eating into the wood of the building. And I've, called the property management and told them multiple times, like, look, this needs to be addressed. And I've come to find out, when you lease a space, and if you need adjustments and things done and things taken care of, you have to be proactive. You have to document, you need to take pictures, write down dates, when things happen, keep an album organized of your photos, of incidents that have occurred, have written documentation of you contacting them and letting them know the issues. And that's just the best way to present any arguments, if needed, down the road. So after much griping, they finally sent someone out and sprayed inside. So we had to plan for everyone to be out of the salon, for someone to come and spray all the wood beams where we were having issues with termites. And since that was taken care of, I haven't seen any flying bugs coming around and hitting us or my clients in the face, thank goodness. So that is taken care of, but nothing that I ever thought would happen in my space. Another wonderful thing that has happened since owning my salon in 7 years is we went almost 6 months without air conditioning, and let alone this was also in the summer. I remember the salon getting up to like 85 degrees. Imagine girls blow drying, sweating. We had some stylists that were pregnant. It was awful. And my building I have the salon in, it is pretty huge, and there's 2 large AC units for the top of the building. And of course, the unit that went out was the one that was connected to my space. And so it took almost 6 months to get a brand new AC unit. And I was not compensated for this. I also had to pay out of pocket for this. And I probably spent over $800 on like AC swamp units, large fans to put all over the salon, individual fans for girls to clip on their stations. And it was a nightmare. It was so awful. I mean, at least we had electricity and we were working, but no electricity to the sense of like to run our blow dryers, but no AC is awful, especially if you work in an area where it is hot and can get hot during the summer. And the number one worst thing that has happened to my salon space since owning the salon actually happened towards the tail end of 2020. So in December, I remember on a Wednesday morning, I was on my way to work and I get a phone call that a massive Suburban crashed through the front door of my salon. And I thought it was a mean joke. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. There is no way, absolutely no way. And then sure enough, I come driving by and I see all the police cars. I'm like, oh my gosh. So at like 8 o'clock in the morning, a man on drugs with a suspended license drove his large SUV through the front door of my salon. Actually, like to the left of my front door of my salon, but it went into my salon. And thank God nobody was working. No one was walking on the street and nobody was injured. That was like the only blessing, but it was awful. I was devastated. And thank goodness the damage that was done inside the salon was minimal. Obviously, like paint, furniture, things like that, but surprisingly, my flooring stayed intact. The biggest damage was the facade of the building, which the landlords obviously took care of. However, it took almost 8 months to rebuild the whole entrance of my salon. Thank goodness I do have an emergency side door that we were able to use to get in and out of the salon. But for about 7 to 8 months, the whole entrance of my salon, the waiting room, everything was tarped off. And the whole building, the facade up to the second floor, had to be rebuilt. And that took forever. So not only did I have to deal with ugly tarps, so we had to deal with loud construction noises going on while we were servicing our clients. And I also was not compensated for that with any discounted rent or nothing for the inconvenience and the issue with what had happened with the front door, not having a front door entrance to my salon, and then also obviously the damage and all the loveliness that went with it. It just kind of makes you, I don't want to say reevaluate, but definitely to be prepared. You never know what can happen when you own a salon, and just know that things will eventually be taken care of. A lot of stuff is not going to be taken care of overnight, but as long as you have a system set up in place and you take proper records and videos and pictures and documentation and make the phone calls and push and push and push to make sure that you as a renter are taken care of and you are in a space that is working and capable for not only you and for your team. So these were my 5 most disastrous things that have happened since I've owned my salon, and hopefully that is it. I've done it all. I've seen it all. So don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And if you have any questions about any of the incidents that have happened, drop them below. I'd be more than happy to fill you in more. All right. Thanks for checking in. I'll talk to you guys later.